Good evening. It's Holy Tuesday and we've just concluded the bridegroom service. With me, Father Joseph Saman, Dr. Mike Epitropoulos, and I'm Tasso Kyriakis. Thank you for tuning in to our Grow section, our session tonight. We'd like to talk about the healing of the church, and that's something that seems to be very needed at this point. Before we start tonight's discussion, let's just speak one moment to the affairs of the church. Number one, understand we have a dynamic thing going on here. We have a priest who loves to serve and heal and take care of his people. And we have a parish council that has to make tough decisions while being volunteers of the church. They've had to make some very tough decisions, and together they're working through it. Please understand that these aren't decisions they can always control. So for the health of our community, let's not get caught up in the little things of this. Let's work from the standpoint of being together as a community, growing together, healing together when needed, and being uplifted. The purpose of the services that will be live streaming are just that purpose. We know that you've been deprived of something beautiful and glorious in your life by what has happened with this coronavirus. But we shall pass through this, and we will know before we get done with this that every moment ticks on, and we've lost moments. Father Nick Manasakis, who used to be here, used to say, when a moment in time is gone, it's gone, and you can never recover it. So going forward today, start to cherish your church, to cherish the services, and to pull them into your home, and enjoy what is being done by your parish council and your parish priest, to make sure that the fullness of the faith can be delivered to you, even though there are very strict guidelines that prohibit a lot of things from going on without taking unnecessary chances. With that being said, tomorrow night is Holy Wednesday, the service of Holy Unction. Holy Unction is something you can get every Wednesday of the year by attending the Paraclesis service. Father does it. It's very poorly attended, but very much needed. It seems that the people that show up for it really get a lot out of it. I think I told in an earlier session, Father, I told the story about the lady who was not religious or spiritual, but benefited from that service, even though she didn't know a word of Greek. So tonight we're going to try and give you some of the background and mysticism, if you will, of how that happened. And some of this stuff you're going to say, that just must be Star Trek stuff. But we're going to start and we're going to talk about olive oil.
Let's just say one thing about tomorrow, that we are not able to give the unction as we usually do.
Yes.
And it's okay. It's not going anywhere. The holy oil will be blessed just like every year. It will be here. Whenever we go through this crisis, it will be waiting for you.
And the encyclical was very, you're undermined by the Archdiocese and the Patriarchate, and it was very specific. There would be no distribution of oil
Yes.
and things of that nature.
And it's okay. We don't need to, because there has been many parishioners asking, and the answer is just wait. We will get through this, and it will be waiting here for you when you come back.
As I said, I've seen many times after Divine Liturgy, someone who's going to have a surgery, someone who's going to travel, you take them over to where the unction is stored, you bless them, and send them off with the prayers and blessings.
Yes.
So I hope that this can be a healing for us, because I know there's people, I myself was very upset at some of the decisions made, but it's not worth it when we have the love that we have in this community to do that type of thing. So let's all pray, let's all heal, and let's all grow together. So Mike, I go to a restaurant and I want olive oil and red vinegar. Tell us a little bit about olive oil, because we know and we're not just making conjecture, it's scientific research about its usefulness to the mind, to the heart. Tell us a little bit about how it all works.
Tasso is probably one of the most healing things that we have in nature. Olive oil has many healing properties, and even they apply even to this day. And I tell my patients, if you take 1 teaspoon or even a tablespoon of oil a day, first of all, it acts as ibuprofen, and it actually reduces pain as an anti-inflammatory. Olive oil also has the ability to, cancer even, many studies done that show the ability as an anti-cancer effect significant anti-cancer effect. We look at olive oil and its ability to lower the cholesterol, to lower triglycerides.
And doesn't that go against some of the conventional wisdom of years back when they would go, oh, you got high cholesterol, cut all those oils out, right? And olive oil was thrown in there with it. But in reality, it has properties that help you to lower the cholesterol and get high density lipoprotein instead of low density lipoprotein.
That's because tasso olive oil is considered to be a good fat. We have the good fats and the bad fats, and for a long time people would group the fats all together in one group. But the good fats are critical, and olive oil is one of the top good fats, along of course with coconut oil and of course avocados. So the olive oil is actually going to help, as I said, reduce your cholesterol, reduce the triglycerides. It increases the high density lipids, which we call the good cholesterol. Actually will increase that. It actually even helps with weight management, reducing weight, reducing fat. It burns fat. So now everybody's going to go to Publix tonight and grab all the olive oil. Just like toilet tissue, there's not going to be any olive oil left after what I say tonight.
And let's talk about that for just a moment so people understand. People are going to go like, how can olive oil help me to lose fat? Our body responds when we eat by elevating your blood sugar. The higher the blood sugar goes, the less fat metabolism we can have, because we don't need to metabolize our fat so that we can get energy, right? So when we eat things like processed sugars, pastas that are refined flour, they're just high dose sugars. So it spikes our blood sugar. Our body gets into this trap of producing insulin, and then eventually we become insulin dependent. So all you men and ladies that are over 45 or 50, and you said, I used to be able to lose this 5 pounds really easy, you have a weight loss resistance tied into insulin resistance in most cases, as well as other maladaptations to your system. So what happens is, and here's the easiest example I can give you, Mike. I take a piece of bread, and I eat that piece of bread, and my blood sugar jumps up 165 points. That's a real number. Research has been done, okay? But if I take that piece of bread, and I put a tablespoon of butter, which is 90 calories, or I take a tablespoon of olive oil, which is probably anywhere from 90 to 100 calories, I put it on there, and I eat that same piece of bread that now has 100 more calories in it, my blood sugar only goes up 40 points. Because it acts as an emulsifier to slow down the release of blood sugar.
And because of what Tasso was saying, you can guess then that olive oil is used for very helpful for type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
So, we don't think about this, and here it is, as we know, Father's tomorrow night, the service. It's all about the olive oil.
All about the olives. Popeye, come up here, olive oil wants you. Father, in the Bible, in the story of the Good Samaritan, it says that when the Good Samaritan came to take care of the traveler, he took care of his wounds with oil. And isn't oil synonymous with mercy in the Bible?
Actually, he said, pour upon it wine and oil. And this is a reference to the sacraments of the Holy Communion, represented through wine, and the mercy, the sacraments of healing, represented through oil. And yes, there is a connection, a philological, linguistic connection between mercy and oil, because they come from the same root. And in that sense, when God is healing us through the sacraments of the Holy Unction, it is a mercy, because it's not only healing our bodies, it is healing our souls by forgiving our sins. There are many references in the Bible pertaining to oil, or the olive oil. And one of them is very significant. The story with Noah, when the flood receded, and he sent the dove. And the dove went and came back, and in her beak there was a
Olive branch.
Yes. And from there, and Noah understood that the flood was over, and that was God's way saying, that's why we say extending the olive
branch.
for peace.
Right.
That's one way of God extending His mercy. And the parable that you mentioned, the Good Samaritan, where it's mentioned there that he used wine and oil, it's God extending His mercy, because the Good Samaritan actually is the figure of Jesus Christ.
Right.
You know, so, and the service tomorrow, we bless the oil, but all the readings, either from the epistles, from the gospels, or the prayers themselves, they talk about the power of prayer and the power of healing and the connection between the healing of our bodies and the healing of our sins.
Logistics. Questions I don't forget to ask you tomorrow. Tomorrow, when we have the epistle readings and the gospel readings, because we usually have two services, we used to read it, one in Greek, the next one in English. Tomorrow we'll read both the epistle and the gospel in Greek and English, correct? Just some logistics, so we know.
Well, you got me off guard, because I haven't thought as far as tomorrow.
Look, you set that expectation up before. You told Cindy I always get
Yes,
off guard or something.
you know, but today I got one of the feedback from one of our parishioners. As we said, you know, when you are at your home church with your children, you have the service being streamed online on your TV. You try to imitate the lighting in the church, and you have your books. So one of the feedback I got today is they were reading the hymns in English, even though the chanting was going on in Greek.
Mhm.
They read it in English, they know what it means, and they were listening. So people can get creative in what they can do.
So they have to tune in tomorrow to find out if they get Greek and English.
Yes, you have to tune in. We're not going to let the cat out of the bag.
Okay. And for those of you that don't have a book at home for Holy Week, agesinitiatives.com is available on your Apple and your computer. And understand it will not follow exactly. There are some little minor differences that occur, but you'll be able to follow the gist of it, and the readings will be pretty much the same, right, Father?
Yes.
Okay. So, Michael, they think you and I are weird, right? Because I love essential oils. I do biofeedback. You know, Masua Amato, when you and I were growing up, we thought he was a weirdo because he said, I talk to water, and when I talk nice to the water, I get beautiful crystals. When I talk bad to the water, I get ugly crystals. When I play nice music, which when we had one of the youth retreats, you came here and showed the effect on water. If I talk nice to the water, I talk nice to the water or the plants, I get better production. If I play good music, I get better production. If I have loud 9-spiked nails music, I don't get very good plants or very good water, right? Or water crystals. So there are healing frequencies. The two most renowned and noted are frequency of 432 megahertz and 528 megahertz. Ironically, or not, 528 is the frequency of
Love.
And of
The music.
Byzantine
music.
the chanting, which we have Panayoti here so beautifully chanting for us. So when you're here, you're bombarded by so many things that heal the body. And I think I told you this, I don't think we did it on air, but I had a debate with a student one time at the Holy Cross, and I said, you know, the fathers of the church had such wisdom. They take Levani, incense made of frankincense and myrrh and geranium and rose and all these fruits, and they take the oil and they make the incense, and then they put the incense into charcoal, which was originally sulfur based. Which, Mike, we know sulfur is huge antibacterial, huge antiviral, right? Okay, so now they take it and they put it on top, and the smell goes out. In our Vedic medicine, they don't give you a pill. It all is aromatherapy. It's aromatherapy because it bypasses the brain. When it gets to the hippocampus, it bypasses the brain and goes to what we call our primitive brain. Okay, I just forgot what it's called. What's our primitive brain forgot? Help me, Mike.
We're both forgetting that. It's been a long service tonight.
Okay, yes, I'll remember. I'll just shout out when you were talking. So we look at this, and we're studying more and more how oils have frequencies that heal. We know that oils are antibacterial, antiviral, anti-mold, anti-inflammatories. They help the body to help get back to, again, going back to the umbilica, the amygdalus, thank you. And the hippocampus, when we pass that brain barrier and we smell it and it's picked up by that, it begins to balance the body that is out of balance.
Correct.
So it has huge benefits. And Father, the point you make every year is when Joseph took the body of Christ, he took oils and salts to the weight of Christ, which is the way you do it, to prepare the body. It was a huge expense to him back then, right? So it showed the wealth and the sacrifice that Joseph had in this. So I guess the long-winded question to you, Michael, is you of all of us do a lot with vibrational healing and vibrational energy. We're bombarded with it in the church. The incense puts a vibrational to us that helps us heal. The music helps us heal. The oil helps us heal. Give us the doctor's point of view on that.
Well, the doctor's point of view is every cell and organ and tissue in our body is a frequency, at a frequency of specific resonance, as we call. So when we're bombarded by these incredibly high levels of frequency and resonance, it's bringing our body into a balance, or the homeostasis, as we call it, which is the ultimate, is what really healing is all about. It's our cells, the energetic levels, the frequency levels, are all bringing body balance. And that is why we have healing occur in our bodies. So what we don't think about when we're coming to our service here at the church, we're receiving all kinds of great therapy, number one spiritual, but all at the same time we're getting other healing that's happening. And so in modern medicine, even today, we recognize that when there's a disruption in the frequencies of the bodies, the cells and organs and tissues, that is actually the beginning of disease.
Yeah. And I've heard you say that as an energy physician, they can tell, because I don't want to make this claim for you, but they can tell the health of a body
Right.
by getting the frequency of the body and finding it.
Correct.
And it can go, when it gets, I think, to 20 megahertz, gone. But we know also that these healing frequencies, as well as the oils, again, going back to the oils, all come in combination emotionally to help people as well, Father, and balance the emotions. So we look at it from that standpoint of this, and it's sort of weird to some people. It's a hard buy-in. They think you're a witch doctor. They think I'm a witch doctor. They go like, what black magic have you got for me today, right? But the reality is these are things that go beyond the wisdom of allopathic medicine. And we have to open ourselves to it and understand the blessings we have in the church, because the fathers of the church had this ancient wisdom, and they put it into the services that we get to see every day. So that's why when people listen to the service at home, put your incense on, light your charcoal, put your incense on, put the lights on, because again, let's go back to damaging the body. Frequencies that bombard the body, like the light, right? The free radicals that come out of fluorescent lights, cell phones, EMFs, even the wireless. You know, if you're having trouble sleeping, turn off your wireless system at night, turn off your modem, and take your cell phone and take it out of the room and watch how much better your sleep comes within 7 days. You know,
one of the things we have already talked about, it, we'll just emphasize that. Let the words or the prayers sink into your ears, into your system, into your soul. Because the ultimate healer is love. The power of love is the ultimate healer. So what the services do is they normalize our system that has been disrupted by feelings of anger, by grudges, by fear, by anxiety, by all of that stuff. So that is a huge element, the healing when we allow the power of love to penetrate and to come through us, through our eyes, through our ears, through. But also one more clarification, talking about the gift of the Magi. They brought the frankincense to the Virgin Mary because they knew through their prophecies that Jesus was God. That's actually the main reason, that he was God. And they honored him because the frankincense was offered to the gods, and it helps in the prayers, as Dr. Mike would always say. It helps to stimulate the brain in a certain way that it can concentrate.
And there's many oils that do that for us. So, you know, one last closing point. You know, in our Mediterranean diet, we all love to eat oregano and olive oil, right? Oregano and garlic. Three of the biggest antiviral, anti-mold,
Absolutely.
antibacteria, anti-inflammatories you can possibly take. So, once again, any closing comments, Father?
Well, tomorrow, God willing, we are going to have the service of the Holy Unction combined with the bridegroom service. Is going to be very moving, very touching service. And God willing, whenever the recommendation, the directive is removed, you come back and the Holy Unction is going to be waiting for you.
Okay, Michael, any closing comments?
I just want to say, Kali Anastasy to everyone, and just everyone remember, especially now where there's faith, there's no fear.
Faith and fear cannot exist in the same world. If you have faith, fear is the direct opposite. So as I always tell you, we love you, we thank you, we bless you, and we pray for you every day. Father Joseph has each and every one of you in his mind because he loves to heal, he loves to uplift. And the biggest thing I know that's on his mind that hurts his heart is that he can have a full church of people here being healed and uplifted. But please work to make the church at home work for you and have a glorious resurrection. God bless you, and thank you for attending tonight's growth session.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone that is following
God
us. Thank you.